We're back. I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
Yo.
And this is the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast. Today, episode 19. We're going to update you on our personal projects, our cars, and what we've been doing to them, and maybe what we got planned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we kind of figured we'd been doing the Japan stuff and then, how to buy a right-hand drive. And we're like, well, we haven't really even talked about what we're doing to our cars.
Right. It's been a busy little summer.
Yeah. And it's just begun. So, so for me, with the R33 GTR that I have here in the States, I'd been pretty lifted on my suspension.
Oh yeah. It was the spec.
Yeah, it really is. It's the spec that Öhlins recommends for the R33 GTR based on like that suspension and whatever they ran. I'm not sure, but
right.
We just set it to what they recommended, and it was like pretty high.
Yeah. I mean, it looked good, but you didn't have to roll your fenders, nothing like that.
Right. Yeah.
But
barely any rubbing.
Yeah. Definitely could have been lower.
Yeah. So, I've kind of done everything else that I could for this summer to my car, and I decided after seeing Aaron's new setup, which I'm sure you're about to hear about, I was like, all right, I can't keep doing this. I look like one of those jacked up Subarus that, rolls around. Yeah.
Can't be having that.
No. So I was like, all right, we gotta lower this. So I got to adjusting, and, I lowered. I have like I said, the Öhlins Road and Track, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, they're great. It's great suspension, and so I lowered them down, and it looked great, but the front was like an A-frame.
Yeah, super cambered. I mean, obviously that happens.
Yeah. So we decided. Well, he told me, you should probably just get some adjustable upper control arms.
Right. That'll make it where you're able to pull the camber back out and have it look correct.
Yeah. So I got on GK Tech's site, and they have pretty much every piece of suspension.
Yeah, they do.
Like ever for these vehicles.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I was like, dang, all right. Like, get the whole catalog, dude, max out a credit card. Like, I was just like, shoo. But I ended up getting out of there with the upper control arms that we're talking about, the camber arms, and then a rear Hicus delete, because that's something I've been meaning to get rid of and just hadn't really gotten around to it.
Right.
Yeah, so getting rid of the Hicus, and then they have a really cool black fan, like for your clutch fan, and it's supposedly pushes 40% more air, and it's black.
Yeah, it looks way better.
It looks way better, and I have on that car, I have the Billion radiator hose, and the stock fan was chafing it. I think it was the orientation of the hose, but the stock fan was chafing it, and it kind of got, I don't know, like discombobulated. I don't know. It's all weird now. It's deformed. So I was trying to kill two birds with one stone. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting that on there.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing beyond like just some little interior stuff. I spilled the whole Starbucks refresher all over my interior. Yeah, like I try not to get too mad about like things that happen, because I understand when you drive the cars, sometimes things are going to happen, a rock chip, a window chip, a door ding, so I try not to like, and I can generally brush things off. Like my brand new truck got dragged through the woods, and I literally just brushed it off, even though the whole thing is covered with dings on one side now, right? I spill a refresher in this car, and I damn near lost my mind.
Dude, yeah.
I was sweating. I was stressed out. I was crying at one point. I ran into the store, and I told one of our teammates, I'm like, dude, I and he's like, what's going on? What? You can barely talk. And I'm like, I just need a microfiber,
Yeah. Is that where a couple of those gray hairs came from?
Yeah, probably. Just spilling that refresher, because like I said, normally I can handle it pretty good. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing to my car. And then as far as what's next, oh no, actually, I also threw in the 2 breathers on my oil catch can.
Oh yeah.
So
Needed that.
I was having some crankcase pressure problems, but it was because it wasn't properly ventilated, so therefore pressure was building up, pushing through the
Right.
turbos, getting into all of my intercooler piping.
Right.
So for now, I vented my catch can. It's not like my final, but I can drive it.
Right.
like
Right. It's
that.
definitely
not-
way better than it was.
Right. So, and I don't really beat on the car anyways because I would like to get it to a really reputable person that can make sure that what was done right, so, but I love the car anyways. So the future for the R33 GTR, I mean, ideally I would absolutely love to completely pull it apart and get it on a rotisserie and have it done right.
Right.
Because there was, when the car was resprayed, they didn't do the most amazing job taping, and it looks good, but it's just, I would, if I had the time and the opportunity, I would like to do that. But what I need to do first is make sure that my engine is good and that I'm getting all the power that I am supposed to be getting out of my setup, which I'm hoping starts with a retune, which I've been talking to a few guys about doing.
Right.
It is hard because everybody's busy.
And,
I also have to have the time to have an internet connection to be able to do polls and logs, to live e-tune, because where we're at, I'm sure I could have it done, but I'm trying to have it done by guys that do it all the time every day.
Right. So you're not running into the same issue.
Yes, there's a lot of good tuners out there, but if you work with one motor specifically all day, every day,
you're going to know that thing inside out.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as that car, it's really just getting the motor good, and then hopefully eventually doing a full restore on it if I get the opportunity. That would be great.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things that's on everyone's list is throwing their car on a rotisserie and stripping it out completely. And I don't know why that's so appealing to some people, but
because then it's fresh, brand new, right?
Right, and just I don't know, that would be so much fun. It seems like.
I mean, it would suck, but it at parts it would suck.
Right.
You're fuck, this is not fitting back.
The first time you flip it over.
Yeah, and and all the rust comes falling out of the panels. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, but and that would be part of it, right? Is then knowing you've straightened everything out.
Right. And then it's good.
Anything. Yeah, for sure. And then you're confident, right? There's no secrets because you already found them all and stomped your feet and threw a fit.
Cried about it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's about it. What about you? What's up with the 32?
Dude, so the 32, I've been piling up parts for the last few months. Just haven't had a chance to work on it really, but let's see. Well, starting with the interior, I replaced an old brick seat with a nice Recaro Confetti SR3. Classic, yeah. So did that. That was pretty cool. I also replaced the steering wheel with a Nardi that I found in Japan at an up garage.
Yeah, so that was going to be a flip.
Yeah. It was, but then I was like...
You flipped it right onto your
flipped
mount.
it right onto my hub. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
How could I not,
Yeah, for sure.
So I did that and just gave the interior a good cleaning and just started noticing some of the panels falling apart and, the grills for the speakers on the door panels and stuff coming loose. And so I just took the time to take the door panels off and kind of refit those and get them on there tight. And while I was doing that, I had the door panel off, I just looked inside the door panel and...
You found a dead mouse.
You would think. No, I just took some time to grease the regulator tracks and all that. And that alone, that simple little thing made the biggest difference in rolling my windows up and down.
Oh, I bet.
They used to struggle and kind of not want to. And then, I just spray a little squirt and hey,
That was it.
she's solid now. And I'm like, oh wow, that's all it took. I thought I was about to have to
Get
get a new
new
regulator, a
shit,
motor, switch, like all this crazy stuff. But really, it just needed a little bit of maintenance.
Right. It was just old.
Right,
It was
right. It's just
dry.
exactly. So did that, and that was pretty much it for the interior. That was all the parts I had for it. Then started working on the front suspension, which back on Black Friday, I believe I got the GK Tech Super
Complete
Lock.
package.
Yeah, complete package, front knuckle kit and all that. And yeah, I started putting that on, and that was a bit of a task, bigger than I imagined at first, but I prevailed, got it done, got everything on there, got it aligned, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't driven a drift event or anything in like over
A millennium.
Yeah, probably like 8 to 10 years or so. But I got all this stuff, and I'm like, why did I even do this? Like this is like
drift spec.
Right. This is like all this stuff. I'm like, why did I even do this? This is like a car that I want to drive every day and enjoy, but also I'd love to, get out and rip on that.
Slide it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess you can, right? You got like both options now that you got the GK Tech Super package.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. Like if you don't know what I'm talking about, it comes with knuckles. It also comes with front lower control arms that also incorporate the tension rod. So it completely changes how the front steering works. So it allows for a lot more steering angle, and yeah, good for drifting stuff.
Lockout. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, no, when you first turned the wheels and they were like completely sideways, I'm like, what in the heck is going on with this thing? Like, dude, I think you forgot to connect something.
Right. Yeah, it kind of looks like the car's almost broken.
Yeah, for sure.
So beyond that, how could I forget my wheels I put on? I finally got around to putting on the Super Advans. Was able to use the tire mounter for the first time and the balancer.
Over there
as
at
well.
Blunt Garage.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, first time mounting tires in a long, long time on a fresh set of wheels is probably one of the most nerve-wracking things I've had to do in a while. It's kind of sweating the entire time. But
yeah, brand new wheels, brand new mount. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little sketchy, but,
got her done.
Yeah, figured it out and got it done, just like everything prevailed, and got them on there. They look awesome. Had to do a little bit of work on the alignment, and that took a little bit of time, but got it done, and it looks good. It drives great. And
what do you have for tires on there?
The Advan, had the Advan wheels, so I had to get the Advan tires.
Well, yeah.
The A808Rs, I believe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's not, though, you wouldn't drift with any of that, though. If you went, you would have to swap it over. You got something else you would swap it over to?
No, I could drift with that. I mean, they're just a little bit grippier of a tire, but no, I could definitely run with that.
Is that what you would do?
Probably not, because I wouldn't need that.
And it would also just like maybe cost more money.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that kind of squared away the suspension. I've pretty much done everything on that car that I can as far as that goes. It's just going to take some driving and dialing in, and it'll be all set. So also did some work on the engine. Just like you were talking about earlier, the PCV system on your car needed some work. It needed a little bit of work on mine. The previous owner had plugged some things off and did some other silly things.
Freaking previous owners, dude. They are always causing the biggest headaches, dude.
Dude, I swear,
Ask
man.
any car guy.
Just leave it alone, right?
The previous owners always screw you, dude.
I know it sounds like a cop-out sometimes, but, like, sometimes you just, like, how much crap did this guy touch? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, well, this is why I was having this problem. It's because this was plugged off, and it should have been not. Like,
yeah, I just started blaming like normal things in my life. Like I stubbed my toe. I'm like, goddamn previous owner.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it just becomes a thing.
If I can't find my phone, I'm like, that damn previous owner of my car. If it weren't for him, like,
I would have been good.
Dude, yeah. So I got all that squared away, and yeah, I mean, looking at the near future, I'm still trying to get some kinks figured out in the engine bay as far as like a little bit of wiring harness issue and just finding some vacuum leaks and things like that. But beyond that, I'm going to try to just throw a normal RB25 turbo onto it just for reliability and try to get a retune sometime soon just so.
Tune is the biggest issue where we live. It's hard. So it becomes like our biggest challenge, and then we got to drive hours and hours and hours to get to like a reputable one with a dyno.
Right. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, then you're kind of like, okay, well, do I just e-tune it like we were talking about before? But then lining up that schedule and then completely trusting that person to tune a car that's not in front of them. It's just, and then having the road space.
Right.
Yeah, there's some
and
stuff
also,
to
I
it.
mean, say we find that guy, right? He's 6 hours away. So we drive our car, load it up on the trailer, drive it down, right? First run on the dyno, something breaks, or there's some issue, or there's some whatever.
Or he wakes up sick that day.
Right. And what? You just pack it up, go 6 hours back home, like another day of drive. Like,
yeah, take the loss.
Yeah. So whenever, like for me, like right now, like I'm trying to figure out all these things or all these potential issues before I even try to find a tuner, which, I mean, these issues and these problems, they should be figured out anyway and to make things right. But also I'm not trying to waste anyone's time, including my own.
Yeah,
when it comes to something like that.
Don't like that.
No,
they don't like when you bring them a car with like any sort of like figured out issues, because it always ends up wasting their time in the end. They either don't get the power that the car should have, or it ends up messing up on the dyno.
Right, yeah. Bring your tuner a car with some spark plugs with 60,000 miles on them and 87 octane.
And they don't, that's right. So, you got to fix all that stuff up. You got to get it all ready to go.
Right. I mean, and it just sucks because the previous owner, you know, that damn guy took it all apart. So I got to go back through it and
like the mad scientist and fix the piston rings he fried.
Hoping not.
Yeah, no doubt. So what else? Like, any bigger plans? Like maybe like in the next like 4 to 6, maybe right after the season. You got anything that's gonna
No, not
off?
Really. Nothing.
What
Crazy
do you mean? I thought you had a hood and a wide body kit, and air jack. I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I did get a wide body kit for it. I'm not still undecided on it because I'm just always torn on the body work and like on that type of thing, and whether I want to paint it or wrap it. I'm still like very undecided on that front, so I wasn't gonna mention it.
But it's gotta happen. You got the stuff. I mean, at least the hood's gonna go on there.
Yeah. For sure the hood's going to go on. I'm just not positive on the wide body at this point.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's a big undertaking.
Yeah. And then, cutting up a car that you can't necessarily go out and buy quarter panels for.
That's for sure.
It's kind of...
I mean, some are going to start ending up in junkyards here.
Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of true if you think about it. I mean, there's going to be a turnover.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, your model car has been legal for a little while.
Right.
So, like, some of that's probably even already happened. You just don't know about it. But a lot of these things, like, you can only save so much, right?
Yeah.
If somebody gets in a 3-car wreck and front and rear gets smashed on a R33 GTR, like, there's only so much you can do depending on how that happened, right?
Yeah.
So it could very well go to a junkyard.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a sedan and you cannot find parts for sedan specific on 32s, 33s, and I don't even think 34s really.
Yeah.
And like that, all that body type stuff is all different on those models.
Yeah, and that's what gets smashed when you get in a 3-car. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I hear you there on maybe not taking the risk, because you never know, if you could if you want to go backwards, if you could find the panels to fix it.
Yeah. It's just one of those things,
Yeah, that's true. So
it's a commitment.
So for me, for my other whip, the R34 GTR, that's still got
Can't
plenty
forget
of
about
time.
that.
Yeah, it's got plenty of time in Japan. So we figured we'd just touch on kind of how this works and, my plans with this car. So if you've looked at our Instagram or anything like that, then you've probably seen the car. And when I got it, it had the Nismo front lip on it. And I don't know, any Skyline guys that see an R34 with just a Nismo front lip, it just doesn't. If it's a base mod, like a base
Right.
GTR, and it has just a Nismo front lip, the front bumper looks huge.
Right. It's like way lower than the rest
Way
of the
lower,
car.
yeah. It looks like, dude, like a kid with like headgear on with the braces thing. Like it's just like all like, so that was something. It has the genuine Nismo front lip on it. So I was like, okay, well, let's do the side skirts and the rear spats.
Right, had to.
Yeah, because that's the only way it's going to look halfway decent with that front lip. So, again, if you haven't listened to our earlier episodes, I purchased the car through Top Rank. And so I work with them directly to get anything done to the car that I would like to get done while it's in Japan. And we are going to do a future episode on like the type of work that you should get done in Japan and the type of work you should wait on until you get the car home.
Right.
So look for that. But what I'm having done is, those side skirts and rear spats. And so what happens is they source them for me and they paint them for me. And they work with Trust Kaikaku they work with them directly to get these parts.
That makes sense.
And then they work with a body shop directly to get everything painted the correct color.
Right.
So in everything, Top Rank is charging me what Kaikaku would charge me on the parts.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Paint was reasonable. Like it was like $450 or something to have the side skirts and the spats painted.
It's not bad at all.
Like dope, like that's great. So they're really good to work with. And, when we were talking about buying a right-hand drive car, these are some of those perks of buying a right-hand drive car a certain way.
Right.
Like
Through a place like Top Rank.
Right. Like, yes, would Trevor assist me in these things?
Right.
The best that he could, absolutely. But like, does he personally have the resources to make it happen like Trust Kaikaku? I'm not sure. But it was super easy for me. Like Top Rank. It was super easy for me with them. And so that's kind of one of the benefits.
Yeah, very understandable. Because, you being over here in the States and them being a world away, like, it's going to be kind of hard for you to find a body shop or whatever it might be.
And talk to them or even...
Right, and the communication and all that.
So, some guys are probably like, well, why didn't you just wait till you get over here? Well, car's over there until December of 25. Like, that's like a long time.
Right, and plus shipping on some of those body parts, like, those big boxes.
Plus getting that stuff painted the correct color.
Yeah.
For $450.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
I paid just for a front lip and a bumper. I paid like quite a bit more than that. So, anyways, that's definitely a benefit. So I went and I did that. And so I also could not handle the TE37s with the 265 tires.
Great spec, but
10 and a half wide TE37s with the
they,
22 offset.
And the with the chrome lip dog.
Yeah, that's the thing that really got me is a chrome
polished
lip.
rather.
Or polished lip with the stretch tire kind of look. Like they weren't stretched, but they were just...
Right, it was a 265 on a, would you say 10 and a half?
10 and a
so
half.
like, it's pushing it.
Yeah, it
275 looks a little stretched on 270 or 10 and a half.
10 and a half, yeah. So like I had said in an earlier episode, every time we went in up garage, I'm like looking at every wheel, like,
yeah, you were trying to get out.
So I was just trying to find something. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. And so if anybody's familiar with the LMGT4 wheels, which is what I want because that is what I have on the R33, they're limited drop by Nissan, and it's like once a year.
Yeah.
And all of these places like Trust Kaikaku, Top Rank, Global,
Right.
they all
yeah.
hop right on it, and they order their max of what Nissan will allow them to get. And so these limited orders go quick.
Very quick.
Very quick. And so anyways, the last drop was like a while ago. It was like 9-10 months ago or something like that, and they were all 19s. And so 18s, which is what I want, because where we live there's a lot of potholes, crappy roads. Like, I prefer the extra tire, even though 19s would have looked really cool.
Right, it would have.
I just can't afford like to ruin these rims
Exactly.
to look cool. So
a little safer.
Yeah. So I talked to Brian from Top Rank. He said, I can't get you a set. I can put you on my list to get you the next set that comes through. I talked to Global. They said, no, dude, we're keeping them. I literally talked to everybody. I looked on eBay. I looked on, of course, all of the usual suspects as far as U.S. distributors.
Right.
I looked and looked and looked. I found this guy who has a brand new set in New York for an actual, like, really good price.
Yeah.
A price that I kind of felt like, was I getting scammed? Like, was I going to get tortured once I got down there? Like,
right.
But no, it was great. Brand new set, right? So now I have my LMGT4s for my R34, but they're in America.
Yeah.
I got a good price on them. Sweet, right? So now I need to send them over to my buddies at Top Rank in Chiba in Japan so that they can find me some tires and mount these bad boys.
Right. Wow.
But I got to ship them there. And so these wheels, okay.
They've been around the world twice, dude.
We're picking all these labels off these wheels. These wheels went from Tokyo to Honolulu, from Honolulu to New York, now from New York to Maine, from Maine to Tokyo. Like, these things are more traveled than most, like, millennials, dude.
Seriously,
like,
dude. They went on a world tour.
Seriously. So, and I talked to Top Rank, a few days ago, and they said that they got the wheels. They gave me some options, because the options that these tire companies sell here aren't the same options that they sell there.
Right.
It's a little different. So we're working that out, but I got some time before I'm going to be there next anyways, so no stress. But what I do is I try to find some good deals on parts here in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
So I got a little stockpile of them, so that's what I'm going to fill my carry-on with the next time that I go, and bring them over, and, just little stuff like I got mine shift boot, shift knob, e-brake boot, just some of these little things, like my trunk shocks were shot, so I got a set of those because that thing kept slamming and it, like, was killing me.
Right.
Just some of these little things. I got a Nismo cluster for it, so I'll bring those over, and those are, besides the cluster, none of those affect shucking. So I can swap those out. It's no big deal.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's cool. So just little things for that car, because as I said in the next episode, or one soon, we'll talk about, what I shouldn't do, because some people would say, oh, build the motor, do all these crazy things, but I don't know if that's the play. So for right now, I'm just doing these little things. I still got a little over 2 years. I got like a solid 30 months. Yeah. Almost.
It's a long haul.
It's a long haul, which that, like I said, like, that's the only way I could get the car, because it's a 2000. Nobody wants a 2000 right now, because you got to pay for storage.
Right.
I don't mind paying for storage. I'm going to be able to drive it a little bit and do some of these little things in Japan and know, I had that painted in Japan.
Right.
So, that's good enough for me. But yeah, so for that car, just little stuff, but maybe once it gets back in the US, as long as I still have the R33, I kind of want to make them like twins, like same motor mods, same like wheels, same brakes, like all of that type of stuff. So then it's just, I don't know. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Like,
just missing a 32.
Yeah, I'm like super. I'm just like super basic, and like, I'm like, HKS twin turbos, V cam, and some LMGT4s. We're good, bud.
Yeah. Right. What else do I need?
Yeah, I don't need any special flashy colors or anything. I'm basic, dude. But that's all right. Like, I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
and
it's a good look.
Yeah, it is good. And so, yeah, I mean, we just kind of wanted to have this episode to go over our own projects, because sometimes that stuff gets lost in the mix, so to speak.
Right. Why not talk about it?
Yeah, why not? So, yeah, I mean, that's a big thing. And again, if like anybody has any questions, like if they are curious about where we're sourcing parts or anything about Japan, just really anything, period. Or hey, you want to chat with us on the podcast? Let's get you on the list. Hit us up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for today, episode 19, the project review. I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Adios.